Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Aimee here. Today we're gonna wrap up the month of August as we're already into September. This is my little stack here for my August reads. I did have one DNF. These aren't all of them. I did read a couple of them on my e-reader, but I read a total of 9 and DNF'd 1. I should say read slash listen to, because I do listen to most of my reads. So I started the month of August with Crossing Arizona. This is the second book in the State of Us series by Bree Wiley. Loved this so much. 5 stars, of course. The audiobook is fantastic. This is Maddie and Zed's story. You do meet these guys in the first book. I do think I rather their story over our guys in the first book. I think I preferred the second book more than the first book. Maddie and Zed have always had this connection. They have been friends since they were young. Zed always knew that Maddie was his person, but Maddie was confused about his feelings towards Zed. He wasn't sure what that was about, so he just thought maybe he was just really attached to Zed, that Zed was just, you know, like his best friend. So he'd take these feelings and turn to his girlfriend, whom was very abusive to him in this book. Not necessarily physically, but definitely emotionally and verbally. You will learn to hate this person. But their story is, I loved it so much, and I loved both these guys. It's like they constantly could not meet in the middle. They were just hurting each other constantly, and I just felt for both of them in like different ways. Zed knew Maddie was his person, knew he loved Maddie. They even started messing around with each other, I believe, like in high school. So this is also like maybe like a second chance romance, to where their relationship like actually really starts to connect the older they get. But they go through a lot, and their story is so good, so good. Definitely check your trigger warnings, because there are some dark topics in this story, but I loved it so much. 5 stars. Then I picked up this little novella. This is Pray for Us Sinners by Jessie Walker. Surprisingly, I wasn't crazy about this book. I was hoping to like really love it. So this is sort of this is a female FF romance with some paranormal fantasy vibes going on in here. But I don't think that's what deterred me from the story. I just couldn't get into it. And I liked both our female characters, and I definitely wanted them together, but there was something about the story that I actually kind of got bored with it. And I hate to say that, because I love Jessie Walker's writing. This one just didn't hit all the right spots for me, I guess. I did give it 3 stars. It was still, you know, a good read, and it took me a while to get into, but once I got into the story, I did like it. But this is only just a very short, like the beginning of these 2 characters' story. I feel like this could possibly also be a second chance romance between these 2 girls, because they were like the best of friends and started falling for each other, and then things happened and they drift apart. And this, I believe, is just their story of them trying to find each other again. But it kind of cuts off and kind of leaves you hanging as to what could possibly happen. But I do think she's writing a full-length novel for this story. But yeah, I did physically read this. Like I said, 3 stars. Next, I picked up a Frida McFadden. I chose Mimi's here. I chose Ward D by Frida McFadden. This is, I have to say, my least favorite Frida McFadden. I gave it 3 stars. So we follow Aimee in this story. Aimee is a med student, and she's just kind of like making her rounds leading up to whatever profession she decides to get into. Well, this particular night she is assigned to assist in the mental health unit part of the hospital, what they call Ward D. Amy's already a little unsettled about Ward D. She's heard different things over the years, so she's not looking forward to this, and she knows she definitely doesn't want to go into psychiatry or anything like that. But this is just something she has to do as part of her medical studies. When the night begins, right away, weird things start to happen. I don't want to say this has like paranormal vibes, but maybe a little touch of paranormal vibes to the story. This one just didn't hold my interest like the other Frida McFadden's that I've read, and it just felt like just your typical thriller, which was good. I did enjoy it, but like I said, just not. I was looking forward to that twisty Frida McFadden vibe towards the end, but it was still really good. There's not too much more I can say about this book without giving it away, because a lot of things happen in here, and we do get timelines. We get like from years earlier and then back to present time. So things happened in the past with Aimee and her best friend. So there's a lot of things, there's a lot of topics with that going on. So you go from one timeline to the present timeline, which I really did enjoy. But yeah, just not my favorite Frida, but still a good, solid 3-star read. Then I picked up Look Closer. This is by David Ellis. This is a very hyped up book on Book Talk. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was good. It just wasn't, I guess it didn't meet my expectations, but it was still really good. 4.5 stars is really good. It just didn't have that 5-star vibe for me, because I did get a little bored somewhere in the story. It was a good long book. I did listen to this on audio, and the audio is fantastic. I do think we get a cast of characters, so I highly recommend the audio for this. I also listened to the audio on Ward D, and this was read by Leslie Howard. Very, very good narration. This was excellent as an audiobook. This was very twisty, turny, and I did not see that ending coming. So we follow Simon and Vicky in this story. They are our couple. Things aren't going so well for them as a couple. It's hard to really talk about this book because there's a lot of things from the beginning to the end that I don't want to give away. I'll just say that the beginning starts on like Halloween night. So this would be a great read for your Halloween TBR. We're following someone who finds a woman hanging dead in her home. We don't know who this person is. Is it her killer? We don't know right from the beginning. But she is married to a very rich man, I guess. So she's like a socialite type of woman in the story. But we get to know her, who she is in this story as well, and she has sort of a connection with one of our main characters, and it's so hard to explain this book because once you get towards the end and things really start to come out in the open, it's real twisty turny, like what? So we do get timelines also from this book. So since the event happens on Halloween, we get a timeline from before Halloween, sort of when things started to lead to Halloween night. So then we go back and forth from before Halloween to kind of present, or after, as I say, after Halloween, before Halloween, the day after Halloween. Yeah, we get a couple timelines. There's also some journal entries in here, some text messages. It's a very fun read, very fun listen. Just very kind of all over the place. I took lots of notes. Pay very close attention to your characters and who they are, but definitely very, I mean, I can see why it's highly rated on Book Talk. But I did find myself getting a little bored somewhere in the story because it is quite a long story. But I feel like all that is possibly needed to really understand what is truly going on once we get to the end. Crazy town. I also listened to Limerence. This is by Scarlett Drake. This is actually the second book in Famous Young Things. I haven't read the first. I may have to go back and see what that's all about, but I think you can definitely read this as a standalone. So this is Felix and Nikolai's story. I gave this 5 stars. This was fantastic. This is between 2 ballet dancers, but one of our dancers isn't as devoted to ballet as one of our other characters is. So we have Felix. Felix loves dancing and he loves ballet. He's also very flamboyant. He's very expressive about who he is and what he wants. He has sort of a reputation, if you will. And then we have Nikolai. Nikolai is very more conservative. He and Felix have had like a rival kind of relationship over the years, but secretly Nikolai has actually been in love with Felix. He's never been like ugly or mean or rude to Felix. That's just their relationship just kind of ended up that way. They kind of just, because they were both such good dancers, they were like rivals for each other in the ballet world. And Felix didn't realize, you know, that Nicolo's actions was because he was truly just in love with Felix. So in this story, they get the chance to dance together again. So possibly a second chance romance with these 2 characters. But even from the beginning, as we get to know the 2 characters and as they're dancing together, I love the rivalry between each other and the secret infatuation that Nikolai has for Felix. And then on the other hand, Felix is, you know, that's his rival. He like doesn't like necessarily hate him, but just knows that he has to do better than this guy. So from the very start, I loved the characters and I loved how their relationship blossomed into what happened to be a great love story. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, 5 stars. Just a different world of male romance that I've ever read. Listened to. This was read by Nathan Wolfe and Harley Chase. Great narration. Highly recommend the audio if you can get your hands on it. Yeah, 5 stars. Great story. After I finished Limerence, I picked up Step Into the Zone. This is by Blake Bellamy. Yes, Blake Bellamy. I discovered this author on TikTok, and I do believe this might be his debut romance. I really enjoyed it, but it was very slow in the beginning for me. I gave it like 3.5 stars because it did take me a while to get there. Because I really didn't connect with the characters right away. I really liked Cody's character, but it took me a while to get into Raphael because Raphael was really mean and ugly to Cody, and I just had a hard time connecting with him. But as the story progresses and this hate turns into love, I definitely got more into their relationship. So this is a stepbrothers to lovers story. They didn't hate, well, Cody didn't hate Raphael from the beginning. He was actually very intrigued by Raphael, and he was looking forward to maybe becoming friends with his new stepbrother. Raphael, on the other hand, has some dark issues that he needs to end up taking care of later on in the book, but he despises Cody in the beginning. But as their relationship blossoms and as they start to go through different things together, they become lovers. There's a little bit of light, I mean super light BDSM to the romance, Super spicy. But yeah, all in all, great story. Like I said, it just started off really slow for me, and at times I got kind of bored with the story, and it took me a little while to connect with the characters. But all in all, I had a good time with this story, and I really enjoyed how it wraps up with our two characters. So yeah. And I did read this one. There is an audio available, and I think the author actually narrates the audio, but I don't know, I felt I wanted to physically read this book. Sometimes I get that vibe where I just want to physically read the story, especially in male romances. But yeah, 3.5 stars. Then I picked up The Man Made of Smoke by Alex Narth. I was very disappointed. I gave this 1 star only because I made it through. Yeah, I didn't DNF. I made it through the end, but I don't know. I didn't vibe with the story. I did not like the narration. I did listen to it on audio. So I don't know even if I would have physically read the book, if I would have preferred that. But the audio, I just didn't do it for me. There was something about the way it read too. Like I just could not get into it at all. I actually don't even remember. I should have wrote my review as soon as I finished it, but I didn't. So I don't even remember what this book was about. Let me go get my notes. Okay, notes in hand. So we have Daniel Garvey. He works at a prison counseling killers and other criminals. So he actually witnessed, yes, as a child, he witnessed a crime happening. So here we are in present day, and he has dedicated his life to counseling these bad criminals in prison. And then we're also in present day, so we do have some timelines. So we go back to the time when Daniel was a young boy and what was going on in that timeline to present day. We follow Daniel, and in present day his father goes missing, so he returns home to figure out what happened, what's going on, and he's kind of faced with some things that happened from his past. I was very confused during the story. I even have like highlighted in my notes. I'm really bored, and I don't like the audio. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand this whole plot. Who is this character, and why was he never searched for? Like I don't have many notes, just like not even a full page of notes, because I found myself, like, as I was listening to the story, just drifting, not really paying attention. So I don't know if that's what happened, and I don't really know what was going on in this story. And I'm gonna stop yapping about it. 1 star. Then I picked up a book that finally redeemed my little slump that I got into after reading this. I picked up One of Our Own by Lucinda Berry. This was my first Lucinda Berry, and I'm so excited to say that it was a 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I discovered Lucinda Berry on TikTok. The book starts off with a bang. Like, we're listening to someone call into a suicide prevention hotline. So we follow Felicia in this story. Felicia is a single mother as well as an attorney, and then she volunteers at this the suicide prevention hotline when she can. Her sister committed suicide years ago, so she feels like this is something that she can do to try to help others. So yeah, the book opens up with a bang, with Felicia on the phone with someone who is trying to end their life. And this is where the story just kind of takes off from there, and it starts to follow this person that we hear from on the suicide hotline. She's very close to Felicia's hometown, so Felicia feels obligated to figure out what's going on with this young girl who calls in and who is basically maybe being bullied at school, but she finds out that a horrible thing happens to this young girl. So we just follow Felicia around as she tries to get to the bottom of this. I don't want to say any more. It was really good. I listened to this on audio, and the narration was excellent. The story was excellent. And you're just like, I don't want to say like I didn't see it coming, because it's not that type of thriller. It's not a like guessing game. It kind of is, but then it's kind of not. But the emotional aspect of the story is where I think the thrill of the book comes from, because you're just kind of left with like, what would I do in this situation? You know, it just kind of like, it gets to you. It was fantastic. Loved it. And this is the point where I got through all of my books that I have chosen like on my TBR for the month of August. So I went ahead and I chose some books off of my TBR back here. I had put a list of book titles in a jar. I didn't film it. I just went ahead and I pulled a book. My first book was The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I tried. I got this on audio, hated the audio. Stopped the audio, tried to physically read the book. I don't know what it was about it. I don't know if it was the way it was written out. I just could not get into the story. Didn't even care. I don't even know how far I got. Not very far. And I was just like, no, I don't think this is for me. So this was my DNF for the month of August. So I chose another book off of the TBR shelf back there in my little jar. And I chose B.A. Paris, The Therapist. I was like, oh, this is going to be another DNF, because I haven't really read a good B.A. Paris since, what was the name of that book? Oh my gosh. Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. That was like my first book I read by B.A. Paris, and my favorite. After that, it just kind of all went downhill from there. So I was like, oh, okay, well, let's just give it a go. I went ahead and I got the audio. The audio was really good. Apparently I forgot to write down who it was read by, but I did enjoy the audio. We follow a woman in here, and it ended up to actually be a 4-star read for me. A solid 4-star. I enjoyed it. So we have Alice and Leo, who have had a long distance relationship and have now decided to live together. So they purchased a home in like this roundabout little suburban neighborhood where all the neighbors are very close knit. And as they're getting to know the neighbors and just getting themselves set up in their new home, they learn, or Alice learns, that the couple that lived in the house prior to them, one was murdered and the other one committed suicide. So Alice tries to figure out what happened to this couple, and she's also trying to decide if she really wants to continue to stay in the home of where the last couple are no longer with us. We also have chapters that are titled The Past, and this is where we're following the therapist. So we really don't know who this person is, and we don't know who they are speaking to in the story. We're just following Alice as she's trying to figure out what happened to the couple that lived there, and some other things like just coming up in her relationship with Leo. This was really good. I really had a good time with it. The audiobook was really good. I didn't write down who it was narrated by, but I really enjoyed the audio and just the story in general. So yeah, a solid 4 stars for The Therapist by B.A. Paris. So that's my month of August. I had a really good month, even though I had a DNF and a 1 star. We got back on track. It was really good. Let me know in the comments what you read in the month of August. Have you read anything that I've read? Yeah, let's talk about it in the comments. Hope you're all doing well out there. Thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye y'all.